Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Is once again Carolina Howard. Today, well, before I start talking about my spooky, scary story for today, I want to take the time to thank you all who subscribed to my channel lately and the ones that have been there since day one. I appreciate your support. I appreciate every comment, every like, everything that you guys focus on my channel. 100%. Thank you guys. Okay. I reached to 1,000 subscribers. Woohoo! I'm super excited. I'm trying to get to more, obviously. Hopefully the number starts rising by the day. And there's no ending number. I would love to get to like 80,000 subscribers, but maybe that's asking for too much. But who knows? Maybe one day. Um, but thank you guys. Just was very excited. I just wanted to thank you all for the reach goal, you know. And well, let's not get out of topic. I hope everybody's getting sunlight, drinking water, and staying healthy. Take care of yourself, please, because nobody's gonna take care of you. Okay, back to the subject. Today, I'm gonna be talking about Guadalajara, Jalisco. Obviously, that's where I'm from, born and raised. I honestly, to be honest with you guys, I had no idea about this story until I got to hear it, you know? And I was like, oh my god, like, I can't believe I would used to live, like, down the street, pretty much, like, pretty close to this place, and I never knew the story. My parents, actually, they're also from Guadalajara, Jalisco, born and raised. It's a part of Mexico, and they actually never mentioned this story to me. So I want to take the time today to mention the story to you guys. So maybe you guys could take a trip out there, go take photos, because it's based on a true story. This is actually a real story. You could do your research, go on YouTube, check it out. So this story it's gonna be about a vampire. I know I'm big on vampires. Like, I know a lot of people don't want to believe on vampires, but I believe if it's out here in the world and like we're talking about it and they're making movies about it, maybe it's like some type of percentage of chance that it's real. You know, I'm big on all that. Like, I'm big on mermaids, vampires, werewolves, fairies, aliens, extraterrestrials, other beings, etc., etc., etc. Like I said, this is the first number one spooky story for this month of October. Happy Halloween, people. It's getting closer by the day. So, it's a vampire. The story is around the year of the 1800s. Let me give you guys the exact year. It was on 1890, the year, in Guadalajara, Jalisco. There was a tall, pale kind of looking man that moved into the town of Belen. And he lived in like a really big mansion looking type of house. Everybody in the neighborhood started noticing this new man, like he just moved in there. And he was very silent, like he was really to himself. He didn't really like to communicate himself out there like with others. So they say. I'm just passing the story down, don't forget. There's gonna be a few other versions of the story, but no matter what, this is the main story, okay? Like, I did my research, and whatever you hear here, you're gonna hear in the other channels, as well. So open your ears, grab your popcorn, grab your joint, your blunt, your backwood, whatever makes you feel comfortable to start hearing the scary story, because it's real and it's scary. So he's moved in, like I said, and then the days go by, the weeks go by, people starting to see this man. So they say this man is wealthy, like he had a lot of money. And obviously people with a lot of money, they're not too sociable. They keep to themselves, which I understand. I would too. Especially if I was a vampire, they wouldn't want nobody to find out I was a vampire walking in the streets in Guadalajara, Jalisco. It could be pretty dangerous. And so this vampire, his name was George, so they say. I'm not too sure about the last name, but hey, who knows? Maybe y'all can find out the real last name. That's just one little detail I didn't get to. But who cares about the last name? We know the real story about this man, and it needs to be told because it's based on a true story. His name was George, and little by little, days go by, weeks go by, months go by, and this man's still living there. He's new to the town, like I said, Belen, and they start seeing dead horses. They start to see like dead cats, dead dogs, all kinds of dead animals like around the town, and they think to themselves like, damn, like this never happened before, like what's going on. So they were thinking about it and stuff. They started observing this new man that came into town, little by little, more and more. Then a few weeks go by and the deaths keep on coming from the animals and all that. So people started being like more and more suspicious by the day, like about this man, because they say that this man would only come out at night, like he would prevent daylight, and he would take really, really long walks during nighttime, you know. And this man, like I said, he was very tall, and then he would wear all black. Like they say, vampires. They always say vampires like to wear all black. So this, they say he will wear all black too, and he was rich, so he had money. We always known that from Underworld and like other movies from vampires, they're always wealthy, like they always have money. So this guy started going through town, only at nighttime, taking long walks. So people started like being suspicious about him, like I said, because he was new and a lot of catastrophes started happening as soon as he moved into town. A lot of deaths. So people will start to observe him more and more and more, like little by little. And as months went by, they started noticing that there was starting to be like dead bodies. No longer no more animals, in the town. It was just pure dead bodies appearing every other day. So, if we start seeing like dead people around the streets, we're gonna start like doing something about it. It's not normal to wake up and just see someone laying there. So they started seeing the dead bodies like in Guadalajara, Jalisco, and they started being more and more suspicious. So there was like a group of people that actually like started to like observe this man a little more and more and more. And they say that this man will like take really long walks, so sometimes they will lose sight of him. Like sometimes he like wouldn't come out, sometimes he would take a different route or whatever it was, the situation. But finally one day they got to him. Like they did not lose this man at all, because they were really trying to get to the bottom of it, because everybody believed that he was a vampire. Because when they will find the animals, and when they will find the people and stuff, they will have bites like on their neck, and they will all drain, like their blood was fully drained. So that's how they started being suspicious about this man named George, that he was wealthy and he would take walks at night. So they were like, oh, he gotta be a vampire. And everybody started talking in the town like, oh, he's a vampire, he's a vampire. You know how as Mexicans we get, we start talking to one and another like, oh, this, that, and chisme. And they started following him, like I said, and then they got to like an alley finally, like, and then they said that he like was fast disappeared. Like they couldn't see him. But then as they started walking away, one of the men that was there looked really, really into the dark, like in the alley, and so they seen George sucking the blood out of a person's neck, you know? So everybody ran to him. So they say it took like 10 men to hold him down. And in that group of people, there was a priest also involved. And so they say a priest carved like the wooden thing that you put in the vampire's heart or whatever, because they were supposedly already suspicious that this guy was a vampire. So this priest, he was so shocked because he couldn't believe it, that their assumptions were true. They were like, oh my god, like this is so crazy. And I mean, I could just imagine. And the vampire tried to fight them off and stuff, from like getting him. But he couldn't get away. It was a lot of people from the town together, like they say it took 10 men, like grown men, to hold him down. And then they say that the priest grabbed the wooden stick, and put it right through his heart. So they say that when they put it right through his heart, well, the vampire like supposedly like passed out, like he was fainted or whatever, like they say he died or whatever, which is not real because we all know vampires are like not able to die; they're just asleep. And they say that they took him to the cemetery over there in Guadalajara, Jalisco. This is an actual true story. You guys can travel there and get a whole tour, and then I believe there's also a person telling the story around, pretty sure you could find somebody in the town to tell you the story. Everybody knows the story, but I know probably you that you're watching me never heard of this story. That's why I'm sharing it. So they said they put him in the cemetery and they buried him, and then like weeks and months went by, and then they started noticing there was like a little tree growing from the ground, from the tomb, where he was buried in. And the tree is actually really, really huge now. Like it's humongous, and they couldn't believe it, that the tree was growing, and that it was from the wooden like the wooden thing that the priest had put through his heart, And there's like this huge green big old tree over there, growing and growing and growing. And they actually, like, the people from the, so they say, well, the people from the story and generations passing it down, that the priest built a fence, and like he did like this whole like prayer just in case the vampire wakes up, because so they say if you cut down the tree and unbury him, that he will come back, you know. So the people from Guadalajara, they're so like afraid of like him coming back, you know. Who wouldn't be? A vampire on the loose, you know, in Mexico? Oh no. And I actually seen the video on YouTube, and it looks pretty interesting. The picture of the tree and all that. I would like to go. I'm gonna go and visit. Hopefully I'll be making like a video when I'm down there, so you guys can like take a look and stuff of this story. Maybe another Halloween. And I just really found the story very interesting because